Hi everyone, I'm Kim, the host of Her Voice Collective Season 2, and we're back with this season's Accomplished Women in Business. Why accomplished? Because they're going to tell us all what to do, what not to do, all the mistakes that we can just avoid and learn from the ones that have been there, done that. Today it's a pleasure to welcome Angela. Angela, I have known her in Dubai. You've all seen her for sure, and there's so much to learn from her. So over to you, Angela. Welcome to Her Voice Collective.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. It's actually nice to be on this side of the mic for a change. So usually I'm on your side. So thank you for inviting me today. Hi, everybody. My name is Angela Soudi, and I am on Her Voice Collective. It's great to be a guest here today. My business is called Junior Gladiator Kidpreneurs, and we help to inspire children to find their own passion and purpose and create a business idea from that. We're very much interested in helping children to learn about entrepreneurship, the trials and tribulations of running a business, and also teaching them all about the wonderful world of finance and financial literacy. You can find us on Instagram, Junior Gladiator Kidpreneurs, and we also have our own website too. We do run a podcast for children where children that are already running their own businesses can come and share their story to help inspire other children. So if you would like to feature on the podcast, then please reach out.
I can't wait to know your story. We've known each other in the network. I've been through a couple of sessions, at Gladiator, and we've met at our friend's birthday party, but we've really not had time to sit and really chat up. So thank God for that opportunity today. Diving right into it, Angela, where did it all start? When we look at you, when I say we, I'm saying the network of Dubai, it's like you woke up with a Harvard degree on your back.
No, not at all.
I know that's not true. So maybe walk us through your journey.
Okay, so I've had a really diverse background. I didn't start in business initially. However, I always had this dream from being very, very young of running my own business. Even as young as, I remember at 8 years old my friend and I we had a blossom tree opposite my parents' house. Mm-hmm. And every spring the blossom would come and then it would fall and we would collect all the little petals off the floor and then mush them in a glass and sell this as perfume to the neighbors.
Wow.
So this was always something, I think business was always something that I really was interested in, but I didn't have anybody to really guide me. I didn't even know what the word entrepreneurship was. It wasn't something that we learned about in school. It wasn't a topic that we talked about at home. So I started my career as an employee, and that career started really as a dance teacher. So I was dancing from being very young. And then I went into teaching with this dream of having all these dance studios all over the UK. And I enjoyed it for a few years, but then I felt that I wanted to leave the UK. I felt that England I just didn't feel that it was the place of opportunities. There was a lot of negativity and I didn't have the right circle around me that could really help me to expand the ideas that I had. So I decided that I wanted to travel. I didn't know how that journey would look, so I decided that I would train to be an esthetician. And my plan was that I would travel on the cruise ships and see the world. I didn't. I actually took a job with Virgin Atlantic. Back then, Richard Branson, as we all know, is this great innovator, always doing things differently. He had, at that time, on the planes, in-flight therapists. So I applied to be an in-flight therapist with Virgin, and I got the job.
Wow, that's so interesting.
It was I was there for 3.5 years. And in 3.5 years, I think that was maybe the foundation of me exploring the business world, because I was able to have really close conversations with the passengers. Being a therapist, it was very one-on-one. And I would always ask them, what do you do? I was very intrigued to know, how can these people afford to fly in first class? What is it that they're doing in their life that gives them this lifestyle and gives them the opportunities to travel as they do? So every passenger that I spoke to, I had that, I used it as a mini masterclass to learn, to develop. And I think that was really the first sort of step into the world of entrepreneurship. So I set up my first business 2 years after being with Virgin. And I had an investor who happened to be a passenger on Virgin. I told him my dream, and he said, well, I'll invest in your business. And that was the first sort of business idea that I had. It didn't work. It completely flopped. I lost a fortune, but I learned an awful lot along the way.
It's college fee.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it was. It really was. And then when I left Virgin, I realized that I needed to have more experience in sales, because for me, running a successful business is all about, am I able to persuade people to buy my products or services? How do I communicate my ideas in such a way that I can convince people to buy into my concept? So I thought I'll take a career in sales, which will give me, again, that next level of foundation to learn these skills. And I did. I got a job working for a medical company, doing medical sales, working in orthopedics, which was a field that I'd never been in before. It was a
And kind
huge...
of, it's not a glamorous looking field. Like, who does that? But it's more of, when I'm listening to you, I'm picking up on all these cues that you weren't chasing the shiny object, you weren't chasing the what would others think. You were just chasing what, if at all chasing, you were picking up, the crumbs on the way, leading you to what mattered.
I was chasing knowledge. I was so hungry for knowledge. And I think when I look at a successful person in business versus maybe an unsuccessful person in business, I think that is the key, because there's never enough to learn. We think we know at 19 years old, we think we have the world figured out. We think we know everything.
Yeah.
But in reality, we don't. I mean, I'm nearly 50 now, and there's not a day goes by that I don't watch a podcast. There's not a car journey where I'm not listening to something that I feel that by the end of the car journey, I've learned something. So I'm a seeker and I'm a learner. And I think that really helps to define the difference between reaching success faster than maybe not. So for me, my career was always, what can I do next that will teach me the skills that I need to reach where I want to go? And that's really how my career was. And it wasn't until we moved to Dubai that I left the corporate world fully behind. I had a very successful career in medical sales. I was national sales manager for quite a large medical organization. So I had that safety net. It was a good salary, beautiful car, it was very secure. So then to jump from leaving all of that behind and then come to a new country where no connections, no family, no real idea on what we wanted to do for business. It was a very scary zone. But I felt that I had so many skills behind me from those years of learning and developing that I was able to transfer a lot of that into building businesses here.
Angela, that is so much you've said is kind of answering all the questions I have right in my head, that a lot of people, when they start business, it's so fueled by passion, it's so fueled by the idea, and no one has been told, or no one at that moment sits and goes that I want to chase knowledge, whatever it costs me. I'm confident in the skills that I carry on my back rather than the product that I have in front of me. A lot of people are so scared of sales. You can't not want to do sales if you want to do business, or you can't not want to do sales if you want to matter, right, at some point in time. When did all of that journey move into what you currently lead, which is very, very different in the market, the kid entrepreneurs, right? I think that's the only platform currently in Dubai that is hosting kids and their dreams and teaching them all the skill sets that you took and you paid so much of money through lessons to apply. Tell us more about that.
Thank you. So the Junior Gladiators really came about purely by accident. It was never a goal. It was never really a dream to have this business. But the way that everything worked, it's interesting when you look back on your life journey and you link all the dots, because my career started teaching children. So I was a dance teacher in the UK, and I loved the kids. I loved spending time with them. I loved seeing them develop, them grow. And then I became disconnected with that side of myself for many, many years. And then through the journey of building businesses here in Dubai and going through lots of trials and tribulations, losing money, having failures, building again, we launched the Gladiator Mastery events, which
I've
are
been there.
Oh, you've been there.
Yeah.
So why we decided to do those was because as business owners, a lot of our work was really consulting people. So how can we take the business that you have now and how can we make it more successful? How can we bring in more sales? How can we bring more clients to you? And spending so much time with entrepreneurs and business owners, you start to realize that we all really have the same problems. Not hiring the right staff, not having enough cash flow, not being able to sell, not having the right marketing skills. It's all very similar. And we sat down one day and said, look, we're having all these individual meetings with people that really have the same kind of issues. Why don't we just bring more people together? We'll run an event where we can teach all the things that we're talking about in these one-to-one consultancy sessions, but we can hit more people.
Yeah.
So we decided to do the Gladiator Mastery. The first one that we did, I think we had maybe 20 people that came along, and it was over a whole weekend. And it was run by my husband, Dariush. So he put the content together, and he actually presented the entire program, which was very labor intensive for him. And it was a success. And we said, wow, that worked really well. And then word spread. So we decided to do another one. There were 50 people here and then 100. And it just grew and grew. And the feedback that we were getting was that the content they were learning was helping in their business. It was changing not only their business life, but also their personal life too, because we talk a lot about mindset. And then we came to a time when my husband Dariush, it is tiring for him. He's on his feet for two days a weekend. So we decided to change the formula and said, rather than him delivering all the content, why don't we look for really incredible speakers that have an amazing value to share from around the world. And then we bring them and we run a larger event, which then turned into the Gladiator Summit.
Yeah.
So the last summit that we did was earlier in the year, last year, November, and we had 2,500 people and speakers from all over the world.
That's
so why
brilliant.
Junior Gladiators?
Yeah.
So during this journey of the Gladiator Mastery and then the Gladiator Summit, during that time, lots of parents would come and say, why are we not teaching these principles to kids in schools? Why are we not teaching children how to tap into their passion, tap into their purpose, ask the question why? How do we teach kids to have more self-belief? How do we teach kids to understand that you can actually make a successful career for yourself and it doesn't have to be for working with somebody else. It can be developing something of your own. So we said, okay, well, if there's a need, we'll run a small workshop for the parents and bring the kids along. And we did, and that was a huge success. And now it's grown into its own little world now. Now we've got this amazing events team. The events team are all children from the age of 9 through to 17 that are running good, successful businesses here in Dubai. And now the kids teach the kids. So the kids run workshops on how to be a YouTuber or how to be a public speaker or how to run a podcast. And the children learn from the children. And it's so rewarding. It's such a beautiful journey to see children come into the workshop initially nervous and shy and scared. And then by the end of the sessions, they're actually in a theatre pitching their business idea to potential investors, like a mini Shark Tank.
Amazing.
The transition is just so beautiful to see.
Angela, I'm going to, segue a little into what makes you, all of you, because everything that I'm hearing from you is, it's not about you. I remember in Gladiator Mastery as well, you were very present, but it was not about you. You allowed the stage to be for us and for Dariush. That takes a very different self-assuredness in a woman to not make everything about her. How did that happen for you? Were you born like that? Were you always so self-assured? Were you comfortable, taking the back seat? Because a purpose is bigger than your branding and all about you. Tell me about that, because a lot of us in some part of our life, we're just finding our voice, we're finding our presence, and it distracts in a way where your branding becomes all about my story, my sad story, my happy story, my dream story, that it takes someone away from their purpose. So what made you so self-assured?
That's a very good question. First of all, I don't think that I am self-assured. I was incredibly, incredibly shy as a child. In fact, that's the reason that my parents put me through dance class, because I was so shy and I was bullied in school. So I was the one that would always sit back. I was never at the front. I would never perform. And I think looking back now, and I have my parents to thank for that, they put me through this dance program that helped me to develop more self-confidence. But I don't know, it's not about me.
Exactly.
It's not about
So
me.
it's just, you're saying you were always this way.
I think so. I think definitely there's an element. If you speak to my husband, you know, I was really reluctant to even have an Instagram page. I fought him for a long time. So if you look back in my Instagram, I think my first post was maybe 2019. Because why? I don't feel the need to. I know it's necessary. I know we have to have a personal brand and we have to show who we are. But for me, it's more than that. It's about helping other people to shine.
That's pretty much where people get to at some point in time, where you've been there, done that, you've showed up, and now you get into that. It's not about me. Let me share the stage or pass on, that spotlight. But in everything I'm hearing about you, it was never about you.
Yeah,
That
I
is
don't think so.
That is very interesting. And maybe that allows you to be hungry for knowledge, that allows you to be curious. I'm just thinking out loud.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Angela, as a woman who has been in business, and your journey seems more, if I could take that big step and say, very directed from the inside, what are the tools, what are the practices that you do to ground, center, and then direct yourself?
Okay, that's a really good question. And I think that's something that, especially as women, we really need to take more seriously, because self-care is everything. We can't operate from an empty cup. We can't give to others if we have nothing within. And I think all too often, especially when we do become parents, we're so conditioned, and we should give to our children, give to our spouse, give to our parents, and we often neglect ourselves. And one thing that I've come to realize as I'm getting older, and now I'm in this beautiful premenopausal stage where everything's changing, but I'm starting to really honor myself more. So my morning routine is absolutely critical to me.
Non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So I wake up before anybody else in the house. I do my meditation. I do some stretching to get the body moving. I do some breathing. And that's really how I start my day. I have a healthy juice. I take some electrolytes. I do things that give me self-love. And once all that's done, I feel now I'm full. Now I can give to everybody else.
Yeah.
And I see a difference, Kim. I really do. If there's summer, for example, summer for us, for everybody, is a really beautiful but hectic time.
True.
The kids are at home full time. We're not on a schedule. And I lost myself a little bit through summer, and I still feel now I'm not fully back to where I like to be. I'm a little bit tired. I can feel I'm dehydrated.
Right.
I've not been exercising, so I've lost that little bit of my personal self-discipline and self-love, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And I think it's not selfish to...
Oh, it's essential.
It's essential.
It's essential. It's essential because the feminine is the nurturer, and if she's falling apart, everything's going to fall as, like the dominoes just go all the way through.
Agree.
Angela, I personally know you've done a lot of work on the meditation phase. You've been to Dr. Joe Dispenza's events as well. How important do you think it is for women in business to lean on the aspects of intuition, lean on the aspects of meditation, lean on the aspects of energy that might really benefit their business?
I mean, it's critical. It's critical for everything, because it's really the foundation of who we are. And I think I often hear people say, I don't have time to meditate. And my response is, you don't have time to not. Because when we take that moment just to come back to ourselves and we become centered, everything in alignment changes. You become more creative, you become more productive, you become more patient, you become more able to control. We are emotional beings. Women are built on emotion. It's our beautiful sense of co-creation. That's why we're here. But with that can come ups and downs. And what I find is that when I'm consistent with my meditation, my emotional self is a lot more stable. And that's really important in business, because we don't want to make decisions when we're emotional. We don't want to say things that we can then not take back. So I think for me, and for all women out there, we have so many things that we're juggling: the family, the business, you know, the nails, the hair, the fitness, the self well-being. There's so many things that we have to juggle that it's very difficult to keep all of that going if we don't operate from a place that is stable.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that, because when we move into leadership, women are perceived as the emotional ones in leadership, which is not necessarily true. And having tools like this to lean on to create that stability, what you mentioned, because even when I speak to a lot of my clients, we're not looking at highs, we're not looking at lows, we're looking at stable energy, because things will happen and they're going to happen. That's life. Meditation doesn't take away life's challenges. It just makes you kind of unnecessarily bothered with all the stimuli, right? Angela, for women starting business, if you can give us the 3 do's definitely every woman needs to do.
3 do's. My first do would be surround yourself with the right mentors. Mentors are crucial to learning and developing and working not only as an individual self, but also on your business. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to hire them and pay for mentors. There's so much access right now online. We can access mentors through different platforms, through social media, through websites. There's so much guidance available. So that would be my number 1. Surround yourself with the right mentors and continuously learn, always learning. Number 2 would be consistency. So for me, consistency, we often think that when we jump into business, especially when we feel really passionate about a particular idea, that everybody else in the world will feel as passionate as what we do, but that's often not the case. So business takes time. It takes a lot of time. It takes consistently taking those small steps to get those big gains. And don't be disheartened. It does take time. And my third one would be learn finance. Learn how to manage your money. Learn how to read a balance sheet. Learn where to get investment from. Learn how to invest your money wisely in your own business to get the maximum returns. And what do I do with the money when I do start earning money coming into the business? Financial literacy is so important. It's key to the success of any business.
I love that. I think we as women, or even men for that matter, everybody learns how to make the money, and then you don't know what to do with the money, right? You just spend it and then start changing your lifestyle, and then you're back into the same grind to make more money.
Because financial literacy is a topic that we don't talk about in education enough, especially as children. Kids don't talk about money, which is one of the key topics for us when we go through the entrepreneurship program with them. Let's make money conversations fun. Let's understand the value of money. Where does it come from? How can I generate it? What does the term mean, make your money work for you? You know, luckily now we're in a phase where through learning about investing, we have a very healthy passive income coming in, which takes a lot of stress away because we understand how to get good returns on the income that we've learned. And women don't have this information. They don't learn. Traditionally, women were the homeowners, the ones that raised the children. But that narrative has changed. And we need to really understand the options that are available to us. How can I invest? What is a good investment? What does return on my investment mean? Once I start to earn an income, how can I compound the income to create compound growth? Again, really important. So the idea is that eventually I'm not a slave to the system. I'm not a slave to money. Money is working, money is energy.
Exactly.
Money is working for me and it gives me choices.
I love that. Money gives me choices. Angela, what are the 3 things that women in business should not do?
3 things in business women shouldn't do. Seek advice from people that haven't made it themselves. I think that's really key. I think often people are very quick to give their ideas, their opinions based on their own personal experiences. And for me, if they haven't been successful in running a business, then I wouldn't take advice from them. Number 2, make sure that you take time for yourself. Self-care is crucial to having the right energy, having the right mindset, having the right determination, because business is tough. So we need an awful lot of tenacity to be able to get through those tough days. So give yourself a routine, whether it be in the morning or in the evening, but take that time for yourself really to nourish your mind and your body. And thirdly, don't invest in anything without doing your research first. There are so many schemes out there that promise will give you this great investment, this return on your investment, but really do your due diligence beforehand. Talk to people, learn about finance, and then really invest wisely.
Amazing. That is actually putting apart someone that wants to start a business, someone that has a dream, to somebody that's been there, done that. All of that is very reflective in your advice to us.
Thank you.
Angela, if I asked you, what are you the embodiment of? What would that be?
Love. I would say love. I have this inner feeling of just wanting everybody to feel loved, especially kids. The idea of a child going to bed at night and not having a bedtime story and not having somebody tell them they love them, it breaks me. And I think in this time that we're living now, which is a challenging time, there's a lot happening, not for the better. We need more love in the world. We need more compassion. We need more hearts to be open, and we need to stop battling against each other. We're all made from the same source. We're all humans. We need to get back to who we really are and stop fighting for power and money and success. This is a negative energy. I feel that if we can just tap back into that beautiful inner child, when we're brought into this world full of wonder and inquisitiveness, if we can just get back to that, then humanity will start to thrive again.
Do you think that energy that you embody becomes automatically your success tool of inviting those kids in? Because they don't feel like they're coming to a teacher who's going to teach them or scold them, but they feel very welcome in your energy.
I think so. And the team that we have, it's not just me, it's the whole team. We have a beautiful team that just embody this feeling. From the adults working in the workshops, our trainers, our marketing team, all of us, we're all very similar. We tend to gravitate
Feed off
towards each other. And the kids that do the sessions, they are so full of enthusiasm and giving and love and kindness that I think when the children walk into this environment, very quickly we see when the kids first come in, usually the kids are brought by the parents. It's not often a child will say, hey, I want to go at the weekend all day Saturday and do a workshop and learn about business and money. It's very rare. So usually the kids are brought by the parents. And on the first week we can see them. They're unsure. They don't really want to be there. It's Saturday morning. But by week 2, the parents just park in the car park and the kids run in.
Wow.
So it shows the difference. It's not so much about the subjects that they're learning, it's the feeling that they get when they're within this
room. I love that so much, because I think even as adults, we shift jobs, we quit jobs, we could quit relationships when you don't feel that safe space. And not forgetting that kids need that is kind of the base of everything.
Sure.
Angela, last question almost. If you had to go back, and yes, we're all made from our lessons that bring us to this moment, is there anything as something that you wouldn't do, or you would do shorter, or you would do differently that would make your journey shorter, that the ladies listening in can learn from?
It's a good question. I think I think I would have preferred to have got into self-development earlier. So I really started to dive into self-development in my early 20s. And looking back now, I would have, if I'd have had the support network around me, all those conversations, it would have been nice to have been able to jump in earlier than that. That being said, I guess it was the right time because I was able to connect with the information and absorb it at that time. But I think, that's something that I would like to say to people. The mind is everything. We really underestimate what this muscle can do. It can make us, it can break us.
Did your parents have that option when you were a kid, that they were into self-development? Did they have mentors or coaches around that had these discussions versus your kids, they're living in an environment where you and your husband are about that? That's their world, right? I remember they were at the gladiator mastery sessions and they were part of it. So when you compare the world you've created for your kids from the generation that we come from, did you have that access to watching your parents talking about self-development?
No, my parents were... my mum was a nurse, so she had she still has this beautiful giving, caring energy. I always saw her caring for others and giving to others. If anyone was sick in the family, she would be the first one to go and see them. So she had that natural, she wasn't into personal development, but she had this beautiful, loving energy about her.
Yeah.
My father was really closed off. He had a lot of trauma as a child, and he wasn't able to express his emotions at all. So we didn't have, I wouldn't say we didn't have a good relationship. We didn't have a relationship where we could speak openly. He was not easy to reach. He was protected. So I don't think in that sense, no. Although saying that, he was also into giving. He was a Samaritan. He would be there for friends to call for advice. So he had that within him, but not with me. I think it really came from some challenges that I had in my late teens. And I went to see a therapist for some things that had happened during that time. And she was the first person that said to me, we're going to do a meditation together.
Wow.
So she was the one that really I owe this entire journey to. I'd gone through a bit of a dark time. I had an eating disorder. I couldn't get out of this negative, dark space that I was in my mind. And she helped to open that side of me. So really it was her that took me on this journey. And so I've felt both sides. I've been down and I felt that depression, but I also see the benefit in doing this self-work. And I really believe that once we understand the power of our own minds, which is beyond anything that we can really imagine, then we can create the most beautiful world for ourselves, or we can create a hell. It really is that powerful.
It's all in your mind, right?
It's all in the mind, which is why meditation and these practices are so important.
Absolutely. Angela, thank you so much for joining Her Voice Collective. Thank you for sharing your journey, which by far has been very different from others. And I'm still, reeling that in, that where what was part of your journey is what people, usually there's a trend that's observed, people go in this manner and then tuck, tuck, tuck. But clearly to me, and may I say that it kind of looks that you just followed where your intuition guided you, which kind of reinforces that the self-work, the mentorship or the meditation is, if you just follow things, what you listen to, what you're guided to, you reach exactly where you need to be. And you embody definitely the energy of love, the energy of safety. Thank you once again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.